Yo, this is the Hungry Millennial. Today, I'm talking about proactive patience, right? So, no matter what you do, if you're waiting on that big break, that application to come in, or that good job to land that good job, or for somebody to review your resume to get back to you, or for somebody to make something happen for you, one of the biggest things that you can employ is proactive patience. So proactive patience, you can employ that in doing research on whatever you want to do with the rest of your life, starting to look, 10 years out, 5 years out, what exactly you want to do, right? Job hunting, updating your resume, going above and beyond in your current work situation, because you never know if you're actually going to be hired on into the next situation. But at the same time, you don't want to put all your cards on the table and reveal all those things. So at the end of the day, proactive patience is going to help you get closer to your goals without it seeming like you're moving on to the next step way too early. So proactive patience, I learned a lot about that when I was in the car dealership industry, because a lot of salespeople, you would have salespeople who would sit, they'd be like, okay, I got a car so I can sit for a couple days. Then you get the proactive people who, by the time that person finished sitting around and waiting around, they had already sold 5 cars, right? And that proactive patience started to yield them better results and a lot more income than that person that was waiting, talking about they got a deal here, they got a deal there, and they were waiting on to make something else happen. I've also experienced that faucet in, when it comes to, like working out, or, accomplishing a goal that you see on the next level that a lot of people don't see yet, or, something that hasn't come, like a date that hasn't come due, right? Start analyzing everything that you can do upcoming to that situation and that scenario. That way you can stay ready. That's a huge concept that Eric Thomas is on this year. Dr. Eric Thomas, ET. He's talking about just being proactive in your life, and also being able to, say, oh, I'm ready. Boom, no matter what the situation is. In my car, I keep I have 20 different resumes. So if I run into the right person, if they're talking the right amount of money, boom, I hit them, right? I hit them where it hurts. I'm like, hey, yo, I got a resume right here. What's up? How you feeling? Are you really talking about that life? Are you really looking for people, or are you just talking about it? Which is cool. A lot of people are just blowing smoke, so that's what's up. But proactive patience was me getting business cards, setting those up and putting them in the little cubby holder in the back seat where my passengers sit. So that way, because a lot of people, I talked to them about my business at first, and then they were like, hey, you got business cards? I was like, no, but I got ads. And I realized that doing my own research, that business cards are easier to hand out. However, you don't get as much of a yield off of business cards as you think you would, because I would say anywhere between 70% of those people are just taking that business card, tossing it, and moving on with their lives, because you represent only one experience, probably as an Uber driver, probably like 30 minutes or so. But there are things that I can also do to heighten that experience. So a lot of times, talking about proactive patience, when I'm waiting for the person, I'll get out of the car, I'll go meet them at the curb to grab their bags, because I know a lot of the Uber drivers aren't doing that. A lot of Uber drivers just wait for the person to walk up to the trunk, and then they start moving the stuff. So that proactive patience helps a lot. And it'll take you to the next level, because people will start to see that they can count on you and they can depend on you in certain positions to get the job done. But if we don't employ proactive patience, then we just kind of sit there. We're being patient, but we're not doing anything about it, and we're not moving the needle forward. A lot of times, I met a lot of high schoolers who, they were disappointed about the school they didn't get into, but then you ask them how many other schools they applied to, and then they go, one other, or whatever, because they had their sights set on that school. However, with a little bit more proactive research, they'll start to figure out over time that a lot of schools offer the same things, and even a higher level, and they might have, kind of thrown themselves out of a pool of being able to go to a higher institution, but they never decided to apply. If you don't apply, you don't know, right? So a no is a no until, somebody tells you yes. So you might as well go into it with a positive outlook, a positive vibe. So that's a huge thing. Also, as millennials, there is the lower half of the millennials, a lot of the millennials that are still in high school, etc., they are getting associates and bachelor's degrees before they even graduate high school. So that makes it even more pressing that as older millennials, we start to capitalize on the things that we have in front of us, because one of those millennials that are still in high school, or making that ramp up, they can come in and take that spot before we even knew the spot was open, right? So just employing that proactive patience, being proactive about your life, thinking about the next step, right? Right now, I'm Uber driving to make ends meet so that way I can set my business up. However, I'm also exploring other facets of ways to make money, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Sometimes you set a vision, that doesn't mean you fail because you had to reassess and do it a different way. It just means that, right in that time, in that moment, things weren't working out the way they should, and you had to come up with a secondary plan, many times a tertiary plan, right? So you want to, sometimes in life, in the military, we talk about primary plans, alternate plans, contingency plans, and emergency plans, right? So that's 4 steps of planning, because in our field, we're talking about lives at stake. We're talking about political climates changing on the drop of a dime, right? So if you can employ that type of proactive patience, right, you already have a plan that's set in place, right, and you're not wasting your minutes, your time, going out instead of trying to secure a job, right? Because ultimately that drink, it could secure your job via networking, but a lot of times, 9 times out of 10 it won't. So this is Hungry Millennial. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. I appreciate all my subscribers so far. Only got a few, right? So let's try to get that number up. I feel like, the more you're able to share, positive vibes and joy in other people's lives, the more action they'll be able to take, right? But you have to set that floor ground for them to believe in the action that you've taken, right? And then they can take that to the next level, right? So anyway, time me out. Follow me on Instagram at OnTheSpotGuy. This has been the Hungry Millennial. Like, share, subscribe.